Hello everyone, it is Redmen Radio, the Liverpool podcast by me, Paul Machin, and that guy over there, Chris Pajak. Of the Redmen TV.
The Redmen TV.
Kick-off question this week comes from Christopher Jackson.
Hello, Christopher.
Who'd win in a fight? A Virgil-sized Shaqiri or two Shaqiri-sized Virgils?
A Virgil-sized Shaqiri, I thought straight away.
Yeah,
because little man syndrome would still exist in him. It's just that he's absolutely massive now.
Okay.
And he knows all the techniques of batting away smaller individuals, having had it done to him for his entire
Virgil
life.
Get his head kicked in because he's been big all his life, so he wouldn't know how to handle it. But what if they'd been this way forever?
Then it would be something completely different. It would just be Virgil against Shaqiri, essentially, in which case Virgil would win.
So two small Virgils would beat one big Shaqiri.
If they'd been that way forever, yeah.
Okay, because Virgil would have little man syndrome, and there'd be two of
them. And he'd been fighting people who are bigger than him all his life.
But okay, so let's just flip it to bring it around to its natural conclusion. Two Shaqiris normal, or what versus one Virgil normal?
One Virgil.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I feel like it's the answer that makes everything else irrelevant, because I've given you every answer there, so something for everyone to agree with. You can't say I'm wrong because I've given you all the answers.
Absolutely. Right, let's get to some news in brief. We're going to be discussing looking back briefly at the Watford game and looking ahead predominantly to Paris Saint-Germain and taking some questions as well. Obviously it happened last week. We haven't done the podcast since then. Mane signed a new contract, which was really good. It was one of those things, I think, it was just another reason for people to be on edge. I really liked all the stuff around it, like Melissa Reddy saying that there was never any doubt from Liverpool's perspective that it was going to be signed. But this is where we're at, I think, at times. And there's a great question that kind of asks this right at the end of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But it's like people are just looking around for stuff, looking around for where the next bomb's going to go off.
Yeah. I didn't feel like that. I know I saw people online talking about it, but for me, it was never a big deal. Yeah. I mean, it was always likely that it was going to get done. I mean, it looks like he's enjoying his football. People that I've spoken to, it wasn't like Liverpool fans were walking around in the street going, when's Mane going to sign? When's Mane going to sign a new contract? No one ever mentioned it to me, which says to me that it wasn't actually a big deal. That being said, it does make you go, that's lovely. That was a really nice surprise. That's how I felt of it, more than like I've been fretting about Mane's contract.
It wasn't taking any of my brain power up, but I had a few people come to me and say, I think he's going to go, or he's the one who I'm worried about, because obviously, you know, you're never sure.
Do you want to hear the conspiracy theory on this that I've got?
Go on.
He found out Barcelona weren't coming in for him. It happened a few days after Barcelona. The news had broke that they have to pay an extra 100 million, and Mane all of a sudden signs a new contract, Paul.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's clearly what it is.
I'm surprised I've not seen that on Twitter or anything, to be honest, because I'm sure if I had that thought, loads of people will have had that thought.
Almost certainly we'll see it somewhere now, and there'll be doubtless people who believe it, because people are pricks, aren't they? Paris Saint-Germain are going to wear all white in Paris, Chris. Basically, I've looked into this, and my strong analysis on this is because Nike are pricks.
I didn't realise until I read the agenda that there was a reason behind it, because I've seen the headlines, and it's like, you know, if you go on news now, it's like the reason Liverpool will be wearing red, and I thought, well, the answer to that's because Paris are wearing white.
Yes.
So I'm not going to click on that. Thank you very much. And then
what's the reason they're wearing white?
Well, there you go. They should have clickbaited that, shouldn't they? But then that would have been news now / Paris Saint-Germain or something, and not Liverpool. And then so it wasn't until I clicked on it, I was like, oh, they're just advertising Air Jordan divvies.
It's basically. Yeah, because Nike are absolute massive gobshites. And this is the thing, I know there's a lot of people
want Nike at Liverpool.
People
and stuff.
really want Nike, and I don't get that. For a start, I've never really been, I don't mind Nike, it's fine, isn't it? Like, they do some nice kits and whatever, and I can't, like, I like football shirts, I do. So those Air Jordan kits are sound, they are sound, but imagine Liverpool are playing, imagine the roles are reversed. Liverpool playing at Anfield, and because this is why Nike and PSG are a perfect marriage. The same way that Nike and Brazil are a perfect marriage, because they're all just a shower of pricks, aren't they? They're all in it for the money.
And you are too, if you've told them to say Nike.
But
I'm so sorry.
Nike. So imagine that when you get a kit manufacturer in the like Liverpool, you're playing in your away kit, and I don't mind in those random games where you play. Like I don't mind us playing in our away kit instead of our third kit in certain games or whatever, because who's asked. And I don't mind if we're going on tour and we should be playing in our home kit, but we play in our away kit because they've just launched the away kit. Who's asked? It's a friendly. It's a competitive game of football. Your home kit is meant to be like a source of pride and inspiration. This notion is because Paris has always been considered the city of lights. Horseshit.
Is that right?
Absolute horseshit.
I thought it was because the Air Jordan logo looks like the Eiffel Tower. That's the only thing I was like, why are these linking up? Right, I get it. The Air Jordan's the shape of the Eiffel Tower.
Just a massive gang of pricks, Chris. And this is it, you know. And I mentioned the Brazil thing because there was all those rumours about like Nike in Brazil having that deal where players were getting caps so they could then be flogged over to Italy and all that. And then there was a big thing I think it was in the 90s or late 90s. But yeah, I mean, it's just money, isn't it? And PSG are the perfect vehicle. That you see it in the players they've got, and it's doubled my intensity, which is mad, for wanting us to smash them everywhere, because they're not a football team, they're not a football club. They're just a marketing exercise, and that can get in the bin as far as I'm concerned.
It can. I mean, the thing of it is, it's cool that we get to be the first team that beat them in that kit. Yeah. I kind of like that. Yeah. And I kind of, actually, you know what? And it'll be like the Man United black kit of the mid-90s or whatever. And they're like, we don't want to wear that. We got beaten.
Oh, yeah.
No, we can't wear the black kit. The black kit, no.
I wonder if they'll blame, like Fergie did with the grey kit against Southampton, like they'll blame like the crowd, or they can't say they'll swap it at half-time and ask us to swap and be like, didn't pack the away kit. What are you going to do? You knobheads.
I'm not bothered though either. Like, I know you get into kits and numbers a lot more than I do. Like, it's just another game for Liverpool to wear red in, which I like.
Oh no, that's what I mean. From a Liverpool perspective, fine. You know, we get to wear our home kit. Who doesn't want to wear our home kit? And we've not exactly been amazing in the purple kit thus far. So you know, I'm fine with that.
But just need Souness to turn up after we've smashed them and plant a flag in the middle of it, like big red Liverpool flag. Thank you very much.
Why not? Pulisic, Christian Pulisic, reportedly available for £70 million in a buy now, take him in the summer kind of deal. Liverpool and Chelsea are being linked with this.
My house is also available for £70 million. There is more than 1 year left on its contract, mind. I think that's scandalous. I think, you don't go near him for 70 million quid with a year left on his contract.
Yeah, and that's it. The only reason why you would is if you want to beat a summer bidding war, for example. So say Liverpool are desperate for him, absolutely desperate for him. You're probably going to have to pay a lot of money for him regardless, because he is such a hot talent. I agree, 70 million. I mean, 70 million's doesn't seem ludicrous these days, but it is. That would make him our second most expensive player behind Virgil, which I think is mad for a 20-year-old. Imagine someone coming in with 70 million for Trent. Trent is,
he's worth more, mate.
Well, exactly. Trent plays a regular starter, scoring, performing on the international scene. If Liverpool have got it, fine. Who's asked? I think that's too much money, and I would hope that if it came down to the summer, with a year left on his contract, you'd probably get him for cheaper than that, and I still think he would choose us over Chelsea because of the Klopp factor either way. So yeah, I mean, if Liverpool want to do that and they can, he can be thinking ahead to or whatever, fine, but it seems a lot of money to me.
It's a huge amount of money. I mean, he's not holding down a regular starting place in the Dortmund side at the moment. I think he started the first 4 games in the Bundesliga for them, and he's been a substitute for the other 4 of his appearances, getting 20 minutes, 15 minutes here and there. Jadon Sancho's pushed ahead of him in the pecking order, hasn't he? So, it's not like he's a guy who is first name on the team sheet for Dortmund at the moment. Of course, everybody knows he's a good player and his ceiling's ridiculously high. But right now, he's not performing for Dortmund, so where are you getting your 70 million valuation from?
This feels a bit like someone will probably, they feel like someone might take a bite at this, and they know full well that they're going to get less money for him in the summer if it continues like that. So maybe someone will be stupid enough to cough up. And if it's Liverpool, fine. But if it's Chelsea, then it's stupid, because that's how that works.
Agreed.
Markovic has apparently been injured for a month. Has he? Apparently so.
Really? I only found out today.
Yeah, the Echo reported that the real reason why Markovic hasn't been seen for a month is that he's been injured.
I can't understand why Liverpool wouldn't let us know. It's not like, you know, it's not like when you're going into a big game and you don't want the other team planning for Lazar or not, you know what I mean? I mean, he was never playing anyway.
Is it because the interest in him is so low that the bandwidth cost of simply putting a page up on the Liverpool website outweighs the benefit of people clicking on it?
Coming from a man who deals with the Amazon AWS stuff for our website and the hosting costs, I would strongly consider that you're right.
That's incredible.
It's very expensive.
Well, yeah, but just put a page up probably costs a bar. It costs nothing, basically. But that's how little the interest is in Lazar Markovic, that they would lose money telling people about Lazar Markovic. They wouldn't even put it on Twitter. It's not worth the manpower. It's not worth the 30 seconds they're paying someone to put a tweet out to say Lazar Markovic is out with a calf injury. Yeah, it was funny because the Echo was saying how there's people were speculating that Liverpool had just paid his contract off. Just got get out, you tit. But no, apparently he's looking to get back and fit so he can get his career back on track.
It wouldn't be a bad shout to just pay his contract off, because you know you save let's say 4 or 5 quid a day in food costs feeding him when he comes into work. So you know you're going to pay him the contract anyway. It's just whether you want to do it in installments or not.
On a coach anywhere, you know, the added fuel cost of the weight.
Exactly. You know, you'd have to basically buy a new coach that's more aerodynamic to cover the cost of Lazar Markovic being on there.
Did you see how old he is in the article that you read?
I'm guessing 27, but no, I didn't.
24 years old.
Oh, right, okay.
He's 24. He's only 24.
He's a child still.
He's ridiculous. Dom, Solanke and Ademola Lookman as well are apparently not convinced by the offer from Nigeria to play for them. Obviously, we know Solanke's got 1 cap for England, albeit in a friendly, so he would be eligible to change his nation that he plays for. Fair play for now. I think he's young enough, isn't he? It's sad to say, and this is no slight on Nigerian football, because they've created some great sides down the years, but he's young enough that they're both young enough that they can afford to give it a few years and see whether they do break into the England setup, and then I'm pretty sure, provided they're still at a decent standard, they could probably go and play for Nigeria.
That's it. I think you've got to remember that Solanke certainly has had massive success with those undersides. Yeah. You know, they've gone and won things. It would be a big deal for him to move now. Yeah. To go and play for Nigeria or something. He's got a squad of players that he's grown up with. He's probably one of the better players in that side.
And he's at Liverpool.
So he'll believe that he can get into it once he gets into the Liverpool side.
Well, that's the thing is, but last season he was a larger substitute, and he got a fair few starts, didn't he, ultimately? But that was enough to get him into the England setup. The senior England setup, so he must be thinking, if I do similar again, he's always going to be on the fringes if he's at a top.
This is news because Nigeria have made it news, not because Solanke's made it news. That's the way around. If Solanke had come out there and gone, I'm considering speaking to Nigeria about going and playing for them, it's then news. Yeah. There's actually something there. You can't just ignore Nigeria, you know what I mean? And you know, someone's asked him and he said, I'm not convinced. And that's about right.
I mean, you think about that, you know, as a forward 3, Alex Iwobi, Ademola Lookman and Dom Solanke be a pretty good forward 3 as well, so it's be interesting to see what happens with that. But I mean, the fact is, well, they've got I know the African Cup of Nations will be this summer, but you've got 3.5 years till the next World Cup as well, and you've got a couple of years at least to make a decision, because I wouldn't be surprised.
Solanke's got 3 World Cups in him, maybe,
yeah. Maybe, potentially. Okay, just one last thing in the news. With Liverpool's throwing coach put a picture of himself in bed with Liverpool bedding and stuff.
This was amazing. And you know the first thing that I thought, I'm going to print that out and make that my Christmas card for this year. Yeah. Because I think that would be absolutely brilliant. I mean, how exciting would it be to open a Christmas card for me and get Thomas Gronemark on the front?
Oh, I thought you were going to be like...
Not me doing it. No, fuck that. Why? I've not got no Liverpool sheets. You know, I'm not going out there to buy. I've got a picture that's perfectly suited for it. I might add something like I don't know, something Christmassy like a wreath, tinsel or a wreath or something on Photoshop. Fuck it. Let's go with clip art. That would make it look really shit, wouldn't it? Yeah, clip art.
Right in word art, like
like
Christmas.
Love
the
that.
3D effect.
Love it.
Yeah, perfect. What's the Red News Roundup show this week on the redmentv.com. Steve Hoare is in. He will be looking at all the Liverpool news, not in brief, in depth and detail. It's great, and it's free for the first month. If you sign up, you get to try it. You get to try the Final Word show. You get to try the Stats and Tactics show. You get to try the Liverpool Women's podcast. You get to try the Around the League podcast. There's loads. There's an amazing volume.
Well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which you're doing today. with
Jeff Golden, who is an author. He also writes for places like This Is Anfield. Yeah, he wrote a book on the Merseyside derby. Life, Love and the Merseyside derby, I think, is the tagline. I'm sort of like a quarter of the way through it. It's absolutely brilliant. Really? Absolutely brilliant.
So you got him in the studio today. You're going to be talking a bit of Everton and that.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking a whole host of stuff, but a little bit of transfers, definitely the Merseyside derby, and then a bit about his book. I want to quiz him on some of the stories. One of the things that I read quite early on in the book actually was why he thought that, or it explains through the eyes of somebody in the sort of 50s and 60s, a Liverpool fan from a split family, why he thought that the relationship is so good between Liverpool and Everton, you know, in times of need and stuff like that. And it was an incredible story going back to like the war and stuff like that. It really was dead interesting. Like,
boss, well, yeah, check that out again. That'll be up tomorrow or later today, I imagine, on the redmentv.com. Again, wonderful content for you wonderful subscribers. Watford, Chris, we've done quite a lot on Watford, so I don't want to hang too much around this, particularly with PSG looming large. What were your biggest takeaways from the game at the weekend?
3 points.
Literally just that.
No, I think the thing that come out of the back of it is I think Liverpool fans, myself included, have got more of an understanding that this is what Klopp wants from this Liverpool side. Yeah. I think, you know, he spoke obviously in the press conference. I think it was prior to Paris Saint-Germain, or was it post Watford? I'm not 100% sure, because I saw it on Twitter about, you know, being more defensively solid and winning 3 points and it being a struggle there last season. This is Liverpool, and this Liverpool, I get enjoyment out of Liverpool getting 3 points in the bag. And, you know, it didn't look great to begin with in the first half, but ultimately they didn't look like winning the game.
We've been spoiled, haven't we, I think, at times, and probably not as much as we think we have, because I think we look back with red-tinted, rose-tinted glasses, I think, on last season a lot, because obviously we overlooked the fact that we lost lots of games of football, particularly in the league, comparatively to this season. We always say football's not a particularly enjoyable thing. You know, the 90 minutes, it's very rare that you genuinely enjoy a game of football from start to finish. Very, very, you know, particularly the big games as well. Big games are always the more horrendous. And what Liverpool have found, I think, in the tenure of our fandom, particularly because we've not been a truly elite team in that time, is we've made teams that we should be beating. Those games have been almost the hardest ones, the least enjoyable ones. I can think of, like, Liverpool need to win this to secure European qualification. We'd have to play like Coventry and we'd lose. Or you'd have to play Bradford and you'd draw, and you know, and all these kind of stuff. We've always made hard work. We've not been a flat track bully in a very, very long time. And I think people have a conception that Liverpool should be just wonderful party carnival football from start to finish. And like you say, I think you're dead right on the 3 points thing, is that I'm glad that we're able to, I mean, because Liverpool are churning over and ticking over and getting the wins, we are able to kind of get to the end of it and go, okay, this is what was shit about that, but it doesn't matter, because here was the reward. It's like, you know, we're getting the small rewards along the way. Ultimately, the big reward is it's like a marathon, isn't it? You run the marathon, you hit the wall so many times along the way. It's a physical, mentally taxing exercise, but at the end you get to say, I did it, and you might get your medal or whatever. The problem with football is that there's just no guarantees of it at the end, so you kind of have to find an enjoyment where it is. And
the 3 points,
3 points, and again away to Watford as well.
The running thing's interesting analogy for me. I think, like, what is more fun and what has Liverpool done in the past? Maybe, let's say, a 400 metre, and you go out the blocks and you're clinging on and everyone's coming back at you and you have to dive for the line. Liverpool just going at a pace that not many teams can keep up with at the moment. And we're just jogging around, and it's a little bit boring because we're winning by 15 metres or whatever, or it's not us coming from behind last ditch and sprinting over the line or anything. It's just not as exciting to watch. But the end result is better, I feel.
I think you look at the maybe not true long distance, but the longer of the like you go to the Olympics or whatever. Forgive me because I don't know the full distances or whatever, but like the ones that are within the stadium, and you come
10,000
or 5,000. Very rarely that, you know, it's not all. Well, I say very rarely. The ones that stand in your mind, they're not always the guys who lead from the front, but they're truly world class. I mean, look at how often Mo Farah would put on a burst for the, you know, toward the end, and provided you're there or thereabouts, and you've left yourself with enough in the tank, because that's what Liverpool are doing. Liverpool are not at the ragged edge of football at the moment. We are not clawing and scrapping and fighting and foot to the floor, and everything has to be perfect to keep to keep pace with City. Yeah, they're flying, they're pairing along wonderfully. You look how easy they scored their goals against West Ham, and you can't help but cast a bit of a jealous eye and go, God, look how good that is, and look how easy that is. But you're dead right. We're there. We've got a good solid sweat on, but Liverpool are like.
We're with the pace setter, Paul.
Yeah.
That's all we're with.
Yeah.
We're not going ahead of him, and we're not falling behind him. We're keeping pace right here. We're exactly where we want to be.
We feel like that first time you do it, and you run far more than I do it, but you have done in the past. Like but you know when you get into your groove and you're warm and you're just into it, and it's not. You're running, so you're exerting yourself, but it's not hard. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't. You're not in that stage where you go along and you're kind of like, oh wow, this is when you hit your groove of what you're doing. I feel like Liverpool are kind of there. They're not, because they've got a sprint in them if they need to. But I think in the years gone by, like you said, it's like watching that. You do distance running at school. There was always that one lad who had no concept of the fact that you were running more than 100 metres, and he'd burst out the blocks, and you go, and this you go, but you go, no, just...
It's cars, it's the first cars where his wheel blows out on the last lap, and Liverpool are like trying to hobble to the line.
And we've been that team who's just, you burst for a bit, and stop for a second, catch me breath, right, go again, and you fly forward for another half a mile, and it just doesn't feel like we're doing that at the moment. It feels like we've set, as you kind of say, we're setting a more consistent pace here more than anything else. And it's that thing that we can't know at the moment is how is everything going to look in April? When you get the back end of March, where is everyone going? What's the league going to look like? What are Man City going to look like? What are we going to look like? But you've got to. It does feel like we've got that in mind. It feels like we've got the final running of the season in our heads, and that is, we want to make sure that we've just got, if it comes down to that having to dip for the line, we want to make sure that we've got as much in us as possible to make that as likely an outcome as possible.
Absolutely. I think that's what it's about. I almost feel like it doesn't really fit the running analogy or whatever, but you know if you want to speed your boat up or something, you launch a little bit of weight overboards. Back end of the season, with the rotation, with all the players that have been involved at the start end, you can probably jettison a few of the lads who've had games. It's like, no, this is our first 11, this is the team that's going to go out there, see you later lads, thanks for all the hard work getting us here, but right now we're throwing weight overboard and we're getting to that finish line as fast as we fucking can.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be very, ideally, you want a super squad, don't you? And you want to get to that point of the season when you've not just got 13 players, you've maybe got 15 or 16 who, you wouldn't necessarily want to put players 12 to 16 all in one hit, because you're always likely to take a little bit of a dip in that regard. But you want to be able to drop just one or two every single game and keep the whole thing coming.
That's the whole point, isn't it? I think that's what Jurgen Klopp's plan is for this season. Keep us ticking along, and we'll start to sprint.
And it's interesting because we did quite a bit on this about like whether this is the way Liverpool are approaching games is by design or by thing. And I thought it was quite interesting that once Firmino won that ball back and had the first basically shot of the game for us, it sparked us into life. And I do wonder whether we talk about this like composure that we're seeing on the pitch right now, and whether this is a design by the manager or whether it's just that we're not clicking or whatever. And I think you could make a case and say, look, Liverpool aren't quite right or what have you. But I posit this, that we're looking for our opportunities, we're looking for our moments, and we talked a lot about Jordan Henderson's passing and how he was hung out to dry a little bit by Ian Wright's analysis at the weekend on Match of the Day. But it could just be that there's, we talk about, you've done a lot of like pressing triggers and what have you, that there's more like, look at that in a wider sense, is that we're happy to keep the ball, we're happy to move it around, we're happy to make them work, and we're just waiting for that moment when it's like,
switch off.
They're going to do something soft.
It's why we pass it to the defenders. You watch Liverpool when we play football. Sometimes we pass it to defenders, I feel, and I don't know whether this is right, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I feel like sometimes there's a pass on to a midfielder and we pass to the defender to draw them out of their area. Mm-hmm. When we're playing a low block side and there's the two banks that we talk about all the time, I feel like sometimes there's a pass there and we go back there so that midfield line just pushes up a bit and there's a bit more space, and then it's someone's job to get into into that space.
Yeah.
Because if they're just crammed there, it's almost impossible to get through.
Yeah.
So you have to just keep moving them back, forth, waiting for that little option. And, you know, the one was key the other day, wasn't it? That first goal.
Yeah.
The right back loses Mane. Yeah. Boom. Instantly to the ball's in and we've got the ball in the back of the net.
Exactly.
For one person just losing his man for half a second.
Yeah. And again, look at the thing that kicks it all off. Bobby Firmino, facing up their defender. He anticipates which way he's going to pass it. He blocks it, it crafts an opportunity, and he strikes. And after that, Liverpool, the game gets ragged, and Liverpool go, great, it's gotten ragged, this is going to work to our advantage. And look, they have a little chance within that as well, but Liverpool have 2 or 3 in that spell where, you know, they come in different ways. Salah's just the header from the corner. Mane gets in.
Class that, though.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that enough. That was class.
I love the little Shaqiri sign, what it is, which looks really like he's carrying 2 really heavy shopping bags. Here's an analogy that's just come to me for you. The way we're playing is a bit like how you play with a cat. Now, if you get like a young naive cat, and they'll literally jump at anything. So you put your pen, ooh, and it'll go and dive out, and you're like, haha, brilliant, got you. As they get older and they get a bit wiser and just a bit more jaded with life, it takes more and more, but you can always convince a cat to jump at something. It just takes more and more.
You know what you
need
now? Have you had the kids had them where you get those like wiggly worms on almost see-through things?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that gets my cats now. You've got to put it in a nice position where it thinks it's alive first and foremost. Give it a little wiggle. It'll go, all right, what's that over there? And then fuck off, and it's go.
Well, that's it. And I think that's what I feel like that's a good way of describing almost like how we're playing at the moment. We're going out there and we're judging how well disciplined our opponent's defence is. We're not just throwing the kitchen sink out there from minute 1 and going out because again, we might find it's like coming up against the brick wall. No matter how good you are, these things are just not going to work. If you've got a very well disciplined, very well drilled defence who are tall, athletic, then there's just a lot of stuff that you're just going to frustrate yourself and box, you know, and burn yourself out. You know, they're going to rope-a-dope you in that instance. That's what a lot of teams look to do to Liverpool, because that's where we've been weak, particularly over the last couple of years.
The interesting thing, I did this on the Stats and Tactics show yesterday. The most interesting thing about that game for me was the huge and clear change of ideas from when we scored that first goal. Mm-hmm. So we look at all different types of things, like your passes per defensive action. We look at where the defensive line's held and a load of other things, how many passes per minute and how many attacks per minute. And literally, these are all based on graphs that we use on the Stats and Tactics show. And it's all there, and then we score and everything goes there. Like our defensive line literally dropped 7 metres on average. We just went further back and went, okay, we're going to sit back now. Our long ball share went up by about 5-10%, something like that, as soon as we scored our goal. What happened, and I didn't realise when I was watching the game, it was only on watching it back, is that Liverpool just went, well, we're going to counter-attack, you know. And we actually had less possession in the second half because of that last 20 minutes where we went, Paul, if I told you last year, how did Liverpool, or asked you last year, what was Liverpool's best way of winning games of football, what would you say?
Well, I don't know. The one that stands in my head, the one I most enjoyed was that getting a goal or 2 up by going early and then basically hitting them on the counter-attack.
I maybe set you up there, and I shouldn't have. For me, it was all about counter-attacking football last season. I thought Liverpool were better when we played big sides who were going to come at us and we were going to counter them and get some good results. Certainly the year before, that was definitely evidenced. This year, and now that we're a big club who dominate possession, teams aren't doing that. They don't give us the opportunity to counter-attack them anymore. So what we do is we're dead patient, we'll score a goal, and then we go, you've got to attack now because we're a goal up. Yeah. And then they go, shit, you're right, this isn't really what we wanted to be doing, to be honest with you, but we're going to have a little go because we want these points. And Liverpool go, bang 2, bang 3. Yeah. Thanks very much for the game, lads. See you later, our 3 points, see you next time. Yeah. That's what Liverpool are doing. Yeah. We want to play counter-attacking football, but no one's letting us. Yeah. So you get a goal up, you have to show patience to get there. You get your goal up, you counter-attack the fuck out of them. The third goal, we've got 10 men, we countered the fuck out of them.
Yeah. And I think I think you can see that Man City is just Man City are loads better at being that dominant side and the more settled for and the braver, I think, in terms of the team selection and whatever. And they've got more creative midfielders. They've got better players to do it, absolutely.
And that's fine. But in the same way that we're better at passing out from the back than on Arsenal. They've been doing it longer than us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's all well and good. We've constructed our attack. We've just signed them down to long-term deals. They're all in the prime of their career. Man City have got David Silva is still their best player. I mean, I know it's De Bruyne, but obviously he's not played this season, has he? So David Silva's still their best player for the sake of argument, and he's still got probably the best centre forward the Premier League's had in 10 years. In Sergio Aguero, these are not things that we've had along the way, but I think we're getting there, and it's telling that in the 4-2-3-1 you did a lot of stuff on the Firmino stuff, and there's people we answered comments about this. People were upset with a couple of people were upset with Firmino's performance, whereas I think you can point out moments, long spells of the game, particularly the first half where he wasn't great, but when Liverpool spring into action, he's pivotal to the things that we do, and we're going to get better and better, and maybe there's a case where we will come up. I think maybe we'll come up against a team eventually that we can't break down, and that might force us to go another level more attacking, and maybe that's the game where we do a bit of a City where you leave Gini in the 6 and you've got Firmino and Shaqiri or Firmino.
Right now there's no need to do that though, is there? Because we're winning games without having to go and throw the kitchen sink at them.
Absolutely.
It's up to other teams to make us change.
Indeed, absolutely, couldn't agree more. And one team that might do that is Paris Saint-Germain. We're going to talk about them in a second, but before we do, you may have noticed I'm wearing a Christmas sweatshirt.
I get it.
It's gold, mankin scent and myrrh fee. Which was a pivotal moment of my youth. I was watching Liverpool, Danny Murphy scored that free kick. There's 4 designs. Five designs available on the Redmen TV shop, bigcartel.com. You can get involved now. The international date where we can guarantee shipping before Christmas has passed, unfortunately. It doesn't mean you can't order them, it just means that
we can't guarantee delivery before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. The UK guaranteed order date is Monday the 3rd, to ship by Friday the 14th. So have that in mind. Obviously, if you want one for Christmas, then get your order in before Monday the 3rd. If you want it, again, I would highly recommend, if you've been sitting on the fence and you're going to do it, just get your orders in now. Do it now. Pause the podcast. Get your orders sorted, because we're hitting peak time now. This is the point where Simon, who does a lot of this work and design for us, and people have seen the Instagram posts of them all piled up on desks in the office. It's been a wash with sweatshirts. It's to a degree, it's first come first serve. So come on, get your orders in, get it sorted, and you can have yours by Christmas, which will be absolutely delightful. Paris Saint-Germain then, Chris. Mane's a big doubt. Obviously, literally by the time we finish recording this podcast, we will know one way or the other whether he got on the plane or not. I
like
think
if he's not on the plane, Paul, and he makes a decent enough recovery, I'm happy to give him Simon's seat on the plane with us. It is just flyby, but I will happily sack off Si.
Okay.
And Mane can sit with us.
Yeah. Have you checked in already?
Yeah, but it's fine. I don't mind paying the fees.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's a tough one. Let's work on the hypothetical situation here that he's probably not going to be fit enough to start. He might not be fit enough to give a 90-minute performance at that. I personally, unless he's completely crocked, I'd be putting him on the plane anyway, just to keep PSG thinking.
You don't want everyone else to get ill though, do you? You have to compartmentalise him.
Yeah, it's true.
Just put him in a suitcase in the back with an air hole.
Yeah, just a mask.
A couple of apples.
A breathing mask.
Yeah.
No, what? Wait, what's that?
Just to keep him going.
A couple of apples,
just to keep him going.
Yeah, he's not a hamster. Brilliant.
And a carrot.
Yeah, I'll put him in. But be fine. He's not a big fella, is he? Yeah, I mean, let's work on the hypothesis that he's not going to be there, Chris. This is the one that I've been worried about.
Yeah.
Because, and we talked about it last week on the podcast, and we asked the questions, and we're going to get asked it again about what we should be doing if we're going to buy players in January, etc. And I've said it, we need an understudy for Sadio Mane, very, very much so. Because I immediately start to think, well, put Firmino back in the 9, put Salah back on the right, put Shaqiri on the left. There's no evidence of him doing something like that.
Tom said it. The only evidence we've got of someone else playing left wing is Roberto Firmino, and after that, Adam Lallana, and I think we've had 15 minutes of Naby Keita.
Yeah. Ooh.
They're the only 3.
I think our pace is just it's too important that we don't lose that in this game because of how good PSG are, and it's that counter attack, as you kind of alluded to earlier, is so important to how we're going to play these big games. I would be terrified if it was Adam Lallana playing on the left there. So much so that I didn't even factor him into my thinking. I started to work further down the pecking order.
You didn't get to Moreno, did you?
Oh God, no. No, I got to like Solanke and I got to Origi, and just like you're losing a bit of tactical nous and a bit of tactical fit just to have a bit more physical threat on the pitch in that regard, because maybe we could carry Lallana in this. I mean, I was adamant ahead of Belgrade that we should never see Sturridge and Lallana starting in a team, and then lo and behold, we were a bit pedestrian off the back of it. I think you can carry one of those lads. I said carry, it's a bit offensive, I mean, in terms of
what you want from the game. I think what we want is
not in our best 11.
Well, no, they're not. I think what Liverpool, or what I certainly want, we'll talk for anybody else, is that I want to see Liverpool counter-attack in this game. I see us sit back, soak it up and say, listen, we know you want the ball, but we know you're going to give us some stuff. And for me, Adam Lallana doesn't fit into that. You think back to last season with the red arrows flying forward, your Mane, your Salah, your Firmino all going at pace. Their starting position, Mane and Salah, is so important. The fact that
Mane and Salah.
What did I say?
Mane and Salah.
Mane and Salah is so important that you throw Adam Lallana in there and it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't feel right. I think what he'll do, I think he'll put Firmino on the left.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that it's a good fit. But that being said, he's actually played really well on the left this season, where I think his poor performances on the left have come last season. Okay. The 2 or 3 occasions we've seen him over there, I think he's been absolutely fine. Although he's still not the right fit.
I mean, I wonder. It depends, because we'll get a clear indication from this game as to what Klopp's wider thoughts are on 4-2-3-1. I think, because I think all of us suspect we'll go 4-3-3. If we were to go 4-2-3-1, you start to think that's probably just going to be our formation moving forward. And we saw Milner come on for Shaqiri at the weekend and just go on the right hand side. So you could see Milner start. If it's 4-2-3-1, you could see Milner start on the left hand side.
That's interesting, actually, because was it Maribor he came on the left hand side last season?
I think it was right hand side. He's not. I mean,
when he got the 3 assists, was that right hand side?
Spartak maybe. At home, you think?
He got like 3 assists in a game or something. Didn't he? Was it the Spartak one?
It might be.
That actually, he's not a fella that I'd considered. Now, it goes against what I've just been saying about the pace and stuff like that, but the other part of that job role is to make sure that you cut inside and play the ball to Andy Robertson when he overlaps you. Yeah. And Milner's actually pretty perfect for that, and you're going to get a job defensively out of him as well. I'm not sure I'd want to see that, but I don't think I'd be disappointed if I did.
Yeah, we just don't have an absolute nailed-on ideal solution to this at all, because if we're playing 4-2-3-1, it feels like a waste of time to move Firmino out to the left when you're just starting to get him integrated into that. If you're going to start Salah up front, of course.
I'd go path of least resistance. I think if it's
just a straight swap Mane for someone else.
Yeah. If you've planned for a week and a half, this Paris Saint-Germain game's coming up, you may be focused.
I hope it's known for longer than that.
Yeah, you may. Sorry, you may. Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
So bad. Has anyone booked the plane? Where are we staying?
Because Airbnb sold out.
For fuck's sake!
Anyone know anyone?
Is Leon near?
Can we stay at Disneyland Resort? Yeah. Brilliant, yeah, absolutely.
So we get a box in the stadium and we'll just stay there.
Yeah.
I think you might just go Shaqiri.
Yeah.
Shaqiri for Mane. If you planned on playing 4-3-3, path of least resistance.
Yeah, that makes reasonable sense, doesn't it? And he's such a talented player that they kind of go wherever. I'd like to see that. I mean, it's weird, isn't it, that we feel like Shaqiri's kind of stuck. He's left-footed. But we don't see, we don't want. Salah never plays on the left, and I mean, I know he drifts, but like he never started like as a winger, and we've ever since he's been in there, Mane's been playing. We play inverted, don't we? It's weird that like you'd be like, well, hang on a second,
you can't have a left footer on the left hand side.
Two left footers on the left hand side for Liverpool.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you put Shaqiri there and you put Milner in at left back. and that way you're switching the in and the out. So Milner's doing your cut in and Shaqiri's doing your out.
Right, yeah, why not? Yeah, but it is interesting. It will be fascinating to see, and I'm not, like I say, fearful. I mean, I've got a nervous excitement. The fact that I'm going, and the fact that the last time we went on a European away was Belgrade, which was I mean, Belgrade was lovely, but the football experience was turd. That I want us. I just would vastly prefer us to have our best team out there, considering that all this thing is like Neymar and Mbappe are winning their fitness race. Fine, like that's cool. That's going to make it. It's exciting to see them have their best team, but I don't want any excuses. I don't want us to have square pegs and round holes. I want Roberto Firmino is too important to how we play, even if that is in the 10, which I don't think he's as important in the 10 as he is in the 9, but. He's just so hampered playing from the left. I'd rather get as many of our best players playing in their best positions as possible. And you're right, maybe just make one. I'd have pushed 2 changes for that, but no, it will be interesting, very, very interesting to see. We will be over there. Follow the Redmen TV Instagram account, at the Redmen TV on Twitter, Facebook page, all that kind of stuff for as much stuff as we can physically capture while we're over there. Try and get the Eiffel Tower, because why not?
And Aubrey's going to be on there as well. Aubrey's coming with us.
There's probably a lot of you who is Aubrey, and what?
He's the little one, small hand, smells like cabbage.
Why do you care about her? But no, Aubrey is a boy's name as well, and he is
He's
former.
A long and he showed me the proof.
A long time.
What? He's Googled. Yeah, Chris. I told you. Unisex
penis.
No, the fact that Aubrey's a boy and girl.
Oh right, so. So yeah, Aubrey will be there. So yeah,
he didn't show me his penis. I saw it.
Okay. We're going to dive into some of your questions now. We've got a whole host more questions coming up on the bonus Q&A, which is for the subscribers on the redmentv.com. Those questions involve us recruiting 5 current Liverpool squad members to recreate Armageddon, basically, and go on to become astronaut/oil drillers. Whether we prefer winger or striker Salah. We're going to construct a team of managers. Which world would we, from gaming or TV, whatever, or film would we like to live in?
I know the answer to that.
Where should we prioritise in January/summer in terms of signings, European kit, and which 4 staff members would we have as our party in a turn-based RPG?
And if that's not enough, we're definitely not going to answer, is Henderson going to be a captain?
That's done already. That is out on the channel. Is it out already? If it's not out already, it will
Final
be out
word,
today.
that was on, was it?
Yeah, we've put it out on YouTube as well, so that'll be out today. If you want to know about our thoughts on Jordan Henderson, there's a good 15 minutes on that on the YouTube channel right now. Rob Tyner at Greasy Belch. Would you swap Firmino, Salah, Mane and Shaqiri for Messi, Suarez, Dembele and Coutinho? In a word?
Yes.
Yes, me too. I love Bobby, Mo, Sadio and Jadon. But did you see that 10 from Messi that's all over Twitter at the moment?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, Chris. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing from a few of the people who say he's an alien. He's not from this planet. The ball basically drops out of the air. He holds off a man and he sort of inverse Cruyff megs someone and then turns and bursts away with 2 fellas chasing after him down the wing. He's a freak. And I know I'm not... No revelation. Leo Messi's the best footballer on the planet, but because of that, I mean, and they're all. I mean, obviously Suarez is past his peak. Messi is past his peak. As weird as it is to say that, Coutinho's not, and Dembele I don't think is as good, but Messi and Suarez, just win the league.
It would be close between swapping R4 for Messi.
Yes. It would, wouldn't it? One more, but here's the thing: one more season out of those lads like we had last year.
Yeah,
and I think it would be a different question next season. To be perfectly honest, I think it would be a lot tighter. But at the minute, I just want Messi.
Yeah,
I just want Messi,
absolutely.
And I'd love Suarez back. And as much as people think Coutinho is a snake and he is a bit of a prick and all that kind of stuff, our team would be much better. Coutinho is much better than Jadon Shaqiri.
Yeah.
Much better than Jadon. And that's not because Shaqiri's crap, it's just because Coutinho's world class. Rob Fisher, if a movie was made of your life...
Oh God, I didn't see this one.
Which Liverpool players would play you and your mum?
Me mum. I wish I'd seen this one. Which players do you think would play me?
It's a tough one. I'll do mine because I thought I put a little thought. I've gone Alisson for me because you want a Hollywoodized version of yourself, and he's tall and he's got a beard, so that's fine. Okay. And my mum's dead small, so I've gone Moreno.
Okay. See, me and my mum have both got big arses, and there's not many in the squad who've got big arses. And we both walk like ducks, and there's not really anyone in the squad that walks like a duck.
Suggestions for who should play Chris in the movie of his life. You don't know if you know his mum. I mean, that's weird. So we probably can't put that suggestion forward. But who in the Liverpool squad would you see play Chris in the movie of his life? Let us know in the comments. Mav Kershaw. Last year we all complained that we couldn't defend the lead. This year, problem solved, but we're not quite playing the scintillating football of last year yet in the corresponding fixtures. I think it's something like 13 extra points and 16 less conceded. Do you guys think this is a find a reason to complain attitude? Would there still be there if we won a major trophy? My guess is yes. That is also my guess.
My guess is yes too.
I think we're going to see unequivocally the reason why, I know this is, but it's probably a new thing, relatively speaking, mainly due to social media, where we tar an entire fan base with one brush. So if there's some pricks, we say all Liverpool fans, or all Man City fans, or all Man United fans, etc., etc. I think if Liverpool won the league this season, this time next year, we would see why everyone
haters
thinks Liverpool fans are all knobheads.
We'd be insufferable fools.
Yeah.
And
I'd love it. I'd enjoy it. I think it would create a zen-like calm over me that I could be a bit, because I don't hate a lot of football teams. I hate a lot of footballers. I quite enjoy. I like footy. You know what I mean? So I don't mind success when it's earned and blah blah blah. Like, I've not begrudged Man City any of their titles because I've quite enjoyed. I like a lot of their players and what have you. I would slightly more this season because it's become a little bit more bitter and what have you. But yeah, I would be fairly insufferable. But there is a group of the really horrendously entitled amongst our fan base would be the absolute worst.
Just the same as every fan base, though, isn't it? You know, if you have that great success, for some reason you think in your life you get to lord it over somebody else. You don't. It's not your success, it's your team's success. Yeah. You should enjoy the ride and probably keep your mouth shut about it, but you can't, because you get so much stick off other fans that you're constantly in this banter war with them about it and stuff, and it's just like, it would be so easy because you've basically got the world's best shield. Yeah. People are coming at you and suddenly you just bat them away with your Premier League title winning fucking shield every single time. I remember
the best chant ever was after 2005, coming back to Anfield and chanting, "We are the champions of Europe," was just the best. I fucking love that. And that, obviously we got to carry on a lot of the Istanbul chants and song and Ring of Fire and all that kind of stuff, like, but having that for one season and one season only was like, it was so glorious. And having that, it's just, I mean, like Leicester had that, 5 champions of England 5,000 to 1 or whatever. They'll have that forever, because they can still use that forever, because it was so isolated, but it becomes less, there's less value to it the further removed. The banter war thing, just as an aside on this, where the banter war thing is terrible is because people are constantly looking for something to get back at people, so they delve into things that are non-permanent and the things that can change. So it's always like, you spent loads of money, so therefore, and then your club spends loads of money, and then it's like, now you spend loads of money, and now you go, you're gutted because you've used something. Don't use things like that. You just get over the banter era. Just get back to loving your football club and all that, and things will be loads easier. But it is those people, the minge bags, who get wound up at the absolute drop of a hat. A league title it will cream off some of that. It'll fix a lot of people, but there's just a hard core of just unpleasables who will only ever be a defeat away from absolute catastrophe. So yeah, I think if you're not one of those people, if you're kind of people who do just enjoy it,
I reckon it would satisfy me for 30 years. A good old 30 years. It's a big fucking hit. I'd be like, yes, finally, this is what it feels like. No, but I wouldn't even be asked about anybody else. I'd be just enjoying life.
We were 22 when we won the European Cup. 22
I was, yeah.
22. Yeah. So we were adults, young adults, but adults nevertheless. So, and you never feel any older in your head. So like that, winning the European Cup and seeing us win the European Cup will sustain me for the rest of my life. I don't need to see Liverpool win a European. I'd like to see us win one in the flesh. that's a like caveat to that, and so that's why I was so buzzing to go to a Champions League final, because at least I had that experience, which most football fans in the world never kind of get to see. But you're right. I think as long as you have one of those in your adult lifetime, you can live on it forever. Whereas the league title, we were 7 when we last won the league. I was literally in Anfield when we paraded the trophy, but I don't remember it. I don't remember how it felt. I don't remember how it felt to go through a season and win a league title. So I'm desperate. That one right there, I'm behind you. I'm desperate for that one. And I think that's it. I think the vast majority of us would be sustained by that, and as well we should be.
Absolutely.
Apart from the weirdo minge bags. Drop a like on this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Give it a 5-star review if you've enjoyed it on any of your podcasting platforms. If you want more great podcasts, we do an absolute ton of them every single week. Pretty much everything we do on the redmentv.com is available in podcast form, and you can get it into your native podcast app as well using your subscription. So try your free month, see how you get on with all that stuff. And other than that, stay tuned. We have got the Q&A coming up very shortly. We're going to be diving straight into that. So answering more of your questions. It's always good fun. It's more irreverent than this. So if you like the fun stuff, get involved on the redmentv.com. Walk on.